We need some education. Surprised by one Kenny Hill.
Yeah, to a degree I was. And it wasn't so much about Kenny Hill, because when they were talking about Johnny Manziel being out last year, they raved about this guy. As a true freshman, they were saying that he was going to go in there and be able to do a lot of the same things. Very athletic guy, great arm, great head on his shoulders, although we know he had a little bit of an incident, as young men do. The bigger surprise for me was just how poorly South Carolina looked. Now, we talk about Jadeveon Clowney being gone, but Kelsey Quarles being gone off of that defensive line, Chaz Sutton being gone, Legree and Hampton, both of those cornerbacks gone. But he had done such a great job of recruiting over the last few years. I didn't think it would look this bad, but you have to give a lot of credit, not just to Kenny Hill, but to the coaching staff. Jake Spavital took over as the offensive coordinator, has done a tremendous job. Everybody's wondering, oh, Cliff Kingsbury, he's gone now. We'll never be able to do the same thing. Well, I'll say this about Kevin Sumlin. It's not just Jake Spavital. If the pieces around you are changing and the results stay the same, maybe it's got a little bit something to do with you.
Totally agree.
So not just Kevin Sumlin as an offensive mind, but I think as a leader of men. He knows to have a little bit of fun. Did you watch the video of the post-game video? From Sumlin?
Sure.
Yeah.
What? He did. They have a lot of fun. Everybody wants to play for him. So it was more of a surprise on the South Carolina side, but great to see this out of A&M. The biggest surprise for me out of A&M, though, defensively. Couple big breakdowns, but they looked a lot better defensively, especially Myles Garrett.
You're telling me?
Yeah.
After last year? Did Johnny get any help from his defense last year?
None.
No.
It was the worst good team defense I've ever seen in all my years.
How did I know this was going to get Johnny?
You
started it, and I finished it. By the way, you should go ahead before I jump in.
Well, I mean, I asked Skip, I said, what's this guy's classification? He's like, he's a sophomore. I don't want to say, okay, now he's going to win the Heisman Trophy off of one game. It was one game. He played exceptionally well. I mean, the third quarterback in SEC history with 40-plus completions, 511 passing yards in his first college game as a starter. That speaks volume. Obviously, the kid can spin the football. But moving forward, when you step up and you have to deal with the LSU's defenses, you have to deal with the Alabama defenses, some of the better top-tier defenses in the SEC, we're going to see just how good Kenny Hill is. But it was a great start. Let's because I'm a little pump my brakes. I don't just want to say, Skip's going to come in like, oh, this guy's going to be, he's better than Jameis Winston. If he comes out next year, he'll be the first quarterback in the draft.
Saying that. Nope, you're putting words in Skip's mouth already.
Much better.
But moving forward, I do think he gives them a lot of reason to be very optimistic about what this football team can do in the SEC.
I'm pumping my brakes a little bit on Kenny Hill. And I facetiously on Twitter last night called him Kenny Football. That's going to be some hard shoes to fill as they start to play their other SEC games. This was a classic case of catching someone off guard who was playing with supreme overconfidence in a home opener.
18 straight wins.
Yeah, 18 straight wins, after which a lot of people have picked them to be in the playoffs this year. To definitely win that side of the SEC. I thought they were going to be really good. We talked about Coach Spurrier yesterday. I feel like we jinxed him because we were raving about.
And they still might be good, Skip.
They still might be good. But I have always loved Kenny Hill's lineage. I don't know if you guys remember his father, Ken Hill. As a major league pitcher, he had 3 16-win seasons for Montreal and then Texas, where the young man was born. And he is a product of a quarterback factory at South Lake Carroll. Remember Chase Daniel there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and Greg McElroy. So he was the Texas Player of the Year. So those are all great credentials, and he played with his father's poise last night. That was not too big a stage for him, because that's a huge stage. They kept doing live look-ins during SportsCenter. That crowd, they were going berserk there. And for him to just calmly step out, but the whole A&M team calmly stepped on the field and said, oh, so we don't have a prayer tonight? Okay. Watch this. Because they have had, what is it, like 3 straight top 10 recruiting classes?
Right.
The cupboard is not bare there, despite the fact that they've lost top 5 in the draft offensive linemen, and obviously Johnny Manziel and Mike Evans. But the point is, it's still a pretty loaded football team, and they dominated this game the way you rarely see games get dominated. They ran 99 plays. Think about that. That's almost 100 plays in a football game. Time of possession, 38 minutes to 22 minutes. So the old ball coach didn't have the football very much. You know, like they're just dominating the ball. And Malcolm Kennedy, you remember him from last year, he was one of Johnny's top targets.
14 catches.
Okay?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, okay, so they're a really good football team with a young man who played like a man last night. Now, is he going to be a great player? I don't know yet, but he's poised, he's calm, he made all the right decisions quickly, and he delivered the ball on time with accuracy to a multitude of receivers. Well, that's pretty good.
And that was the biggest part of it for me. You know, it's such a tough offense to stop in the first place. I mean, they've got man concepts on one side, they've got zone concepts on the other side. So whatever you're playing defensively, that quarterback is going to be able to find a weakness. But you just said it right there. He made the throws. He made the decisions, made the throws.
Made 44 of them.
Made some of those throws on the run, and some of the throws that he didn't make.
Yeah.
This is not a knock on Johnny, but we know Johnny would throw that ball up. And he had that one little flick, like the little shovel pass early in the game. I was like, oh, come on, don't tell me he's going to do this too. But for the most part, he did a good job of getting through his progressions, making the short throw when he needed to instead of always trying to go for a home run.
Okay.